Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Camps Bay Guy podcast, your go-to podcast for everything real estate related in Cape Town. In today's episode, I sit down with a close colleague of mine, Elmar Cilliers. Elmar is an inspiration. He's always pushing himself to the next level, and that came out in the podcast. We spoke about personal growth, we spoke about diet, we spoke about personal branding, and how, he's created this unique brand for him, selling Cilliers, and how he puts his own personal touch on all the properties that he sells and brings to the market. So it was a really insightful conversation, really great to sit down with Elmar, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Elmar, well, it's great to have you on the podcast. And to start off, could you share a bit about yourself and your journey into the world of real estate?
Yeah, I just told the gent here I have a audiovisual design degree from Inkscape. I did my internship at a place in Blouberg side at Eden on the Bay. The place is called Shift One Digital. I did an internship there. They liked me so much that I stayed on after.
No.
I was a bit expensive for them to kind of keep me on, but to me, I thought, it was really relevant asking for that amount of money, but they said, no, they can't afford me. And at the time, my girlfriend was working for someone whose husband owned a boutique agency. And I didn't even know he wanted me to work for him. He just called me the one day and said, could we have a coffee? And I went there. I even showed up there with shorts and pluckies.
Yeah.
And the first thing he asked me was, do you always come to an interview with shorts and pluckies? And I was a little bit caught off guard and say, no, I don't come there with shorts and pluckies at all. I'll show up with a suit if I need to. And he was like, okay, I'd like you to come and join the team at the agency. And yeah, I think the rest is history. So did the internship there. They didn't want me to pay me a little bit more. And then I joined real estate, where my journey began.
Nice. And when you first started in the industry, what was the biggest wake-up call or the biggest shock for you when you started as an agent?
Sure. I genuinely thought that because of my traditional parents and stuff, everyone around you are like that, very nice people. Not everyone coming from the traditional is nice, that's what I mean, but everyone around you is nice. And the first time when I started, when we phoned the first guy, and he kind of just yells at you and kind of dropped the F-bombs and everything there, and that was a big wake-up call. People don't have time for anyone other than their friends.
Yeah, people don't want to kind of pick up the phone and real estate agent. Other side,
especially if you
other side of the phone.
If you smell a little bit like an agent, time's over.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience. But I had 2 days where I had to drive with my principal, my mentor at the time. He phoned people and he was creative of saying things for them to get him through the door. So I kind of learned from the yelling to the creative ways of getting in the door, of how to do a sales call. So
amazing.
That was basically my first week in a nutshell. It was tough. It was really tough.
Week. Just pick up the phone and call someone.
Yeah,
basically.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Some people said yes. I made my first sale in 6 days.
Well, that's amazing. First sale. Talk us through that first sale.
From list to sell. So, my internship that I did with Shift One, they made me stay on, but I still had to finish the year, right? Because I was still studying. It was my internship.
I see.
And I started, I think, in September at the agency, and I did my first call, and not my first call, my first week of calls, and the guy said yes. It was actually out in Stellenbosch, called On the Vane, London.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's where one of our agents are really big in Hwart. What the name was, but
could be Estelle.
Possibly Estelle.
Yeah.
And I listed it. I went there the Wednesday. My principal took all the photographs, showed me how to hold the phone because we were using the phones at the time.
Wow.
Videos and everything on the phone. We met with him. He gave us the exclusive. Took the photographs. I think that was a Monday. The Wednesday, I showed a couple, a doctor, the 2 resident doctors wanted to live there, and they paid full asking price.
Jeez.
Full asking
Full
price.
asking price. First sale. Full asking price.
Full asking price.
Like,
Yeah. I think I didn't really know like kind of what happened. Like, you signed the contract and now what? You know, you don't know anything about COCs or stuff like that. And it's like a kind of hit the ground running.
On the job. Yeah.
On the job.
Just learned. Okay, now you got to do COCs.
Now I need to drop off a gift. Now I need to, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's amazing, eh? Wow. 6 days. I think that could almost be a record. 6 days.
I had help.
You were meant for this industry.
I don't know, but I had some assistance.
Amazing.
It actually paid out in December as well. The transferring attorneys were quite quick too.
Wow.
I was in Namibia with my girlfriend when they just check a phone. Oh, I got paid.
Yo, then you must have been chuffed. Then you were probably like, "This is the industry for me." After getting your pittance at the little digital agency.
Yeah, and it was like they paid me like next to nothing because I was an intern, for them. Yeah, and it was like 6 months worth of monthly pay, just one pay. I was like, I'm balling. What can I buy with this? Like an normal agent. First thing the agent gets paid, he's like, I'm gonna buy a car. I'm gonna have a Ferrari. I have my own plane. I was really thinking like, where can this go?
Yeah, epic, man. And then you had quite a good stint at your old agency at FAL Skink. So last year you said you did about 17. It was something around like 17 sales.
17 sales, yeah.
Amazing achievement. And then you also had, while you were there, you had like 75 mandates or listings under.
Yeah, it was never mandates. Well, in the essence of the word, mandate means you have permission to market it, but it wasn't exclusive mandates. Let's say it like that.
Yes.
And to correct you, it was 100
listings. That's amazing.
When we had a mastermind, we said, let's set the bar really high.
Yeah.
With our principal at the time, and we said we want to get to 100, and we reached it.
Wow.
But to be honest with you, a lot of it was development.
Yes.
So the way we would list it is we'll put every single unit that is for sale, even if it's the exact same.
Yes.
Just one floor up or one floor down. All those listings needs to be up, because if you think about it, if everyone checks Property 24, whichever portal they check, or even if it's our website, they check on a Monday and a Friday or whatever, but if you get a notification every single day for the next 3 weeks, all this new development coming up, it's like, it's bugging me. I need to and we got a lot of inquiries through there.
That makes a lot of sense.
And we use that to cross-sell to other developments. So Station House was a good one. We had like, let's say 20 clients through Station House, which of 3 bought at Station House and 2 bought right across the road, because Station House didn't allow short-term letting.
Sure.
Right across the road, there was a place called the Flamingo from Signatura.
Oh, yes.
And we actually sold 2 units there because of Station House, because they didn't do short-term let. So people were like, this is cool, but that's better.
Amazing.
Moved across the road. So we did 5 sales just of one development.
Just from listing those.
Every single day a new one.
Wow. So that's very clever. That's a
great way of marketing it. Yeah.
And developments are a great thing to work on.
It is.
It's like selling that lifestyle and all of that. So you recently made the move, obviously, to Hwart Atlantic. And what motivated the transition? And how has your experience been since joining Hwart?
So there was a lot of internal issues which I won't get into, but what it boils down to was there was no consistency at like how you judge something.
Yeah.
So between the agents, they'll make let's say not a gentleman's agreement, but they'll have an agreement. And then when it comes to the payout, it's completely different. Then someone decided, I don't want to say someone, but the owner decided that's not how it's going to work. It's going to work like this.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a meeting, and at the meeting, they'll say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But when it comes to the sale, another thing happens again.
Yes.
So what motivated me, the first was to move agencies. I didn't know I was going to join Hwart, which I'm very happy I did.
Yeah.
So the consistency at Hwart was throughout the board. I was following you for a while on Instagram, and I saw you doing really well. Your social media is cool. It's kind of something that I looked up to, which I just had fun on my social media, if you remember correctly.
I remember you doing dances.
Yeah.
And 16 on Bree Penthouse. You had that fun dance. And you did some cool videos and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I was always watching from afar as well. I always used to see your stuff coming up.
Yeah. So I was looking up to you at the professionalism that you did, and my first idea was when those issues arose again and again and again, I decided, okay, I'm going to move and I need consistency. 'Cause I'm a person that is all over the show the whole time with my ADD and ADHD, and if that's even
like you need structure.
I need structure.
You need structure.
Yeah. So I thought I needed to join a big agency, just to see what it's like. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. You know, it's unfortunately my bridges are burnt at the previous agency, not because I wanted it to. It's just the way it happened. But at Hwart specifically, I joined because there was something new and exciting that I could learn. And for me, it's important to feel like I'm going forward in life.
Yes.
Because I've been at a place where like they pay peanuts and some people that I deal with, they just feels like they're going nowhere slowly. And for me, that was important. I needed to grow. I learned a lot with my previous agency, hitting the ground running. But I needed structure. I needed growth. I mean, the auctions is something that like kind of blew my mind the first time I did it with you. Trish explained it to me. It was really, really phenomenal. Just learning, and like every day, still learning about it. You know, you can never know everything about industry. There'll always be some niches that you kind of never get to, but carry on growing and learning. That's what I wanted. That's why I was at Hwart. So I interviewed a lot of. It feels like
you were picking the agency. They weren't picking. I feel like that's how the real estate industry works now. It's like you can't really go out there and recruit agents. They need to be drawn to you. If you're looking to grow a business, a real estate business, the agents need to be attracted to your brand. You can't go out and try and get the top performer at some agency. They're never going to leave unless you offer them something ridiculous. So it's great to hear. And I think Hwart resonates. I'm not trying to speak for you here, but I think Hwart does resonate with you because Hwart is very focused on the development of the agents, like personal growth and development and stuff. Like we have training, the master classes, things like that. So I feel like it matches your personality and obviously
the energy, right?
The energy's right. We've got some really great people in our office and the CEO and people like that.
I mean, our business owner, like just the energy and kind of the backing you have from a bigger, we are a big, like a massive brand nationally, but his own brand, Atlantic Seaboard, and his own like firm, kind of that energy kind of boils down right through to the agent. So which is, to me, was like a no-brainer, you know?
You can see he's a hard worker and he likes to achieve. He's also ambitious.
Exactly.
Cool. You want to be around that energy. Maybe you can chat to me a little bit about how, you're studying audiovisual design and working in that field and then moving into real estate. How did that, do you think the two careers kind of have any synchronicities, or do you think you took things from that career and you're kind of implementing them into real estate now in your job?
So it did have a massive influence because now I can take what I learned there, kind of apply my own style to it. Because I mean, my own style can't just be me dancing around in an apartment, like there's there's not, I want to say, now you live by a certain ethos and a certain standard you want the people to see around you. So yes, it did have a massive influence because now I can go to a place seeing, okay, this property is really nice. This is this feature. This is that feature. Now I can point the photographer in the right direction and the videographer in the right direction because everything's video now, right?
And you don't have to video it yourself, which is what you struggled with.
I really sucked in the actual shots, but I could edit the video like you will not believe. But I had like the creative vision kind of to do it, but I didn't have the skills to do it myself because when I studied, the last 2 years, which was a practical application, it was COVID. So that kind of took that whole thing away from me.
Wow.
Our studio at the varsity had a green screen, had like more than 2-3 million rands worth of equipment, but we couldn't use it because it was COVID. So you had to kind of shoot with your phone.
Wow.
And do it remotely. Like I remember there was a project where you had to have a party and video a birthday party, but there was 2 of us in a group. So she had to shoot stuff and I had to shoot stuff, and somehow it was the same party.
Wow.
So that was really, really challenging. And there was a lot of like blending the videos together and like a lot of lights and stuff. So you can't see that it isn't that shot at the same place. But I mean, it was almost impossible to do that, right?
Yeah. Wow.
But that's what the industry professionals do. But still, that kind of had the influence from me doing in the real estate, because I think I have the skill set now to be able to kind of put the property in its best light.
Yeah, you can. You see things that other people don't see. Definitely, I definitely see that when I've gone out on a shoot with you. I'm all about just. I rock up. I make sure the
furniture's right,
the
pillows
right,
fluffed.
I make sure everything's minimalist and there's no clutter, and then I just say to the photographer, go for it. Whereas you more hands on. You like, we need to focus on that. You need to focus. You like almost give the Oak a whole checklist before he's even started his own photos, which is amazing. And I think that's why you add a lot of value to the listings. And I even saw that when you were at FAL Skink, when you were taking your own photos and videos and stuff.
Yeah.
That was always on point. So yeah, well done for that.
I think a good thing that also like adds value to it's like I can tell and have a relationship with a photographer in video saying that this is my style. Either I'm not saying either you do it or you don't. It's more like I'm teaching you what I want, and then you can use that to apply to all your other clients. I mean, you're using kind of my your little big picture of what I think it should be, kind of helping them and kind of showcasing them, because a lot of people are really good at the shooting and stuff, but when it comes to the big picture and the actual editing, then not so great at it. But luckily we found one that's good at both, and now he just needs a little bit more direction. Then he's all there.
No, he's good. He's, even since you've been working with the photographer that we're using, I definitely seen his work has come so far. So that's great. This podcast is sponsored by Hom Loan Junction. Hom Loan Junction are a bond originator, and if you don't know what a bond originator is, a bond originator will help you get finance for your next property purchase. They'll go to all the banks, get you the best interest rate so that you don't have to go and barter, and they'll make sure that you get the best deal for your next purchase. So if you're a foreigner or a local South African, Hom Loan Junction will help you get the best finance for your purchase. Thank you so much to Hom Loan Junction for sponsoring the podcast. It wouldn't be possible without you.
First time I played, I was 13 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been playing the sport for a while. It's 15 years this year.
Wow. Gee whiz.
Yeah, 15 years. So and I love the water. And I loved sports my whole life. My dad, my mom loved sports. My girlfriend as well. But still, for me, what that did to me is it gave me consistency throughout the sport. For that, I didn't need to do when you have like a coach and people love playing the sport, they don't need to kind of think out a new training program or do something different. All I had to do was to show up to the training.
Yeah.
So for 15 years, a Monday and a Wednesday night, I play underwater hockey for 2 hours. And it's a good thing as well, because no one can reach you for that time. You're under the water. Sometimes there's like a little bit of shouting, but no one can speak to you under the water really. You can say, hey, maybe try turning this way or going that way. You've played it yourself.
Yes. Such a fun sport, I must say. If I had more time, I'd probably play a bit more. But
what helped as well is my girlfriend also does it. So it's kind of the time we spend together, but it's more like we do the same thing, so our interests are aligned. So the other days we'll find something else to kind of do.
Yeah.
But what that did was it created consistency for me throughout. Like I was speaking about consistency a little bit earlier. So that was one of the pillars. If I didn't play, it felt like I was missing something the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, like some people like do that with the gym. Like they need to gym, otherwise they feel bad. They have like an emotional drop. For me, it's the same thing. Underwater hockey.
Sure. So if you don't play underwater hockey, it like affects your mood, it affects your life.
It does.
It's like that pillar in your life that keeps you moving forward.
Keeps me safe.
So that actually keeps you balanced, even though it takes up a lot of time.
Yes.
It keeps your life in balance because you play.
Keeps me, so the consistency therefore kind of creates my balance.
Yeah.
So if it's not there now, I feel like I need to do something. You know, I'm kind of wasting time just sitting around for that 2 hours I had there.
Wow.
So
amazing. So and that kind of bleeds over into the real estate, into your career, into your life.
Here's what I did. So because I played it so long, I have a lot of knowledge, and I've played a lot of international tournaments. So what I did was I took that and I kind of branded and placed myself in the underwater hockey community as someone that anyone can go and ask a real estate question.
Wow.
So I had a lot of referral business, also in Onderwyn, London. Someone that stays in Durban, who knows I sell real estate and I sold the place there.
Wow.
Called me and said, "Hey, I have one here. How much can I get for it?"
Sure.
And we ended up selling that one for her as well.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I placed myself in the underwater hockey community as someone that anyone can ask a real estate question to. That itself kind of made me have to go at a point, because it's consistency. Everyone's seeing me show up in my suit, seeing me showing up in my Hwart branded car. That created the balance for me with the underwater hockey. I'm there to play for myself, to keep myself sane.
Yes.
But also blended right into real estate, because I could get referral business and stuff through that.
That's like your network. That's like your sphere of influence. Basically.
Exactly. Now I just knew a little bit more people because I'm in that community.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now you're also doing the same thing with cricket, because you also play cricket.
I also play cricket, yeah.
You're a very active person.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
It depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
So, Mondays and Wednesdays underwater hockey, Tuesdays and Thursdays cricket, and it's just something like I have to do.
Yeah.
It created the consistency, and it is a downtime through itself, but it feels like an effortless marketing and branding opportunity.
Yeah, you're just there having fun with your mates, but at the same time, everyone knows you work in real estate, you're sponsoring the cricket club, and you're there and you're enjoying yourself. So it's like the best way. It's like
a casual way of not pushing it like in down someone's throat.
Yeah,
you know, that could, because I feel like people choose you because they trust you, and you're their friend, and they can ask you something that's they don't commit to anything until they want to commit. Then who's there every Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursdays and Mondays? Who's there the whole time? I'm there.
For sure. And it comes back to the thing about, people do business and real estate with their friends and family. If you ask someone, why did you list your property with this person? Oh, that's my cousin, that's my aunt, that's my mother.
My friends, brothers, sisters, a real estate agent, and they said this is the way.
Exactly. So like, it's about making as many friends as you can through what you do, and then that converts into business at the end of the day, which is amazing. So you've kind of tapped into that, I like that.
So you asked me about my balance and how me playing for South Africa kind of influenced that as well in terms of my real estate. Because I've played so many international tournaments, now I know a Turkish guy who sells fins. I know a French guy who sells coffee as a barista. I know a French guy who's a lumberjack. Because you see each other at the tournaments all the time, and the community is kind of small, everyone knows who everyone is. I mean, there's some people who met their wife at an international tournament. I mean, there's a guy who stays in Durban named Brent. He met his lovely wife Julie while they were touring in France.
Sure.
I mean, like it's like it feels like I'm everywhere, but I'm not everywhere. It's just like you know people, and they start following you on Instagram because you met them there. And after the game, which is really cool, which is an underwater hockey thing, is you give them something from the country.
Okay,
like,
wow.
Those little beads.
Oh, those like little bracelets.
No, it's not a bracelet. It's like a little beaded flag that's on a keychain.
Oh, very cool.
So for us, that's like really low cost and everything, and they super love it. You'll see everyone has a South African flag on their bag at Worlds, which was really cool. So, and now everyone starts following me. Some people just message me from Turkey saying, that's cool. I'd like to buy a place someday in Cape Town. Put me on your mailing list. You know,
Wow.
that's kind of how it happened.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you built like this international network now through your underwater hockey, just from being there, and you just meet all these amazing people and travel around the world.
And it's not like I'm trying to sell them something. It's more like we're becoming friends, and now you also see what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when you walk into a thing, always give your business. It's not even you're not being pushy at all. They're following you, and then they're just seeing what you do, which is amazing.
And how much fun it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And then another question, what books or programs have had the biggest impact on your life?
Well, that's a really good question, Josh.
Yeah.
Oh, I get asked that a lot. I have to be honest with you.
Okay.
The best book that I've read that changed my life from day one, let's say my day one, everyone liked that trend, right? My day one.
Yeah.
Is Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert T. Kiyosaki.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Real estate book.
Yeah, it's a real estate book. And I didn't start reading that when I was in real estate.
Wow.
Which was kind of
crazy. When did you read that?
I read that in my last year before I started real estate in Cape Town. I read that.
Wow.
Right after my brother passed, I read that book.
Wow.
Right before my birthday, when I came to Cape Town to kind of check out where I needed to live, to work in Blueberg and side of town. So I was reading it, and then I said, yes, look at this place, and how cool is this? Because we started apartment hunting.
Wow.
And I want to say it's like law of attraction. It just fell on your lap.
Yeah.
Getting back to the book, though, so I'm going off the tangent.
No, it's cool.
That's one. And one I read specifically because we went to Worlds in Australia. It was last year.
Yeah,
it was last year, correct, yes. I read Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Wow.
I cannot recommend enough that you need to read that book. Like, to me, it changed everything, like perspective. Because that's what it's all about. Like these self-help and motivational and growth books, it's about perspective. Yes. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes, or what if I look at myself instead of someone else? Stuff like that. Like like one of the best things he explained was 1%. It just takes how much is 1% of a day? Like it's almost nothing. So I think it's less than 1 minute. I think that's how much 1%. Probably not, a little bit more, but let's see.
Yeah.
He said if you can be 1% better a day, you will have exponential growth by the end of 3 months.
Yeah.
And if you're worse 1% a day, you'll get to zero growth.
Yeah, you'll go down.
Yeah.
You'll go below zero.
Yeah. Well, it technically can't go to zero because it's something that you learned. You can't unlearn it.
Yes.
So, but it slows down drastically. Yes. If you look in his book, he explained it completely.
Yeah, you have those two curves where it's like one is exponential growth and one is going down.
No, it's more like I want to say I can't remember
like
what is in English.
It's almost like compound interest.
But it's like it goes to zero, but it can't be zero because you learn something. You know, it can get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, but it can never be zero.
Yes.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but if you read it
no, it makes sense. Makes sense to me. Yeah.
Then he said, before you get that exponential growth, there's a part where like you think it's linear growth. Let's say if it's a graph, you think it's linear growth, but it's actually exponential. So you'll dip a little and then suddenly shoot up. And he says that fat little thing between the linear and the exponential growth, that's called the valley of latent potential.
Okay.
So he says a lot of people get there, like they change their life, but there they give up.
Yes. So you got to push through that.
You just need to make sure that 1% gets put in every day.
Yeah.
No. By the end of 3 months, you look back, you're like, I thought I was done for 3 months ago.
Wow.
And where am I today?
Yeah, there's another book that I really love that's similar to that. It's called The Slight Edge. That's all about also like just small house, doing just something small every day. Don't focus on trying to change the world in one day. Just focus on something small, like 20 calls. Do 20 calls a day.
Yeah.
And those 20 calls will in a month, you'll have done more than if you sat for like 3 hours just once a month and made calls.
Exactly.
And that just made such a big difference to me, as well as saving money. If you just save like 5,000 Rand a month or something, let's just say, for example, instead of saving like 10,000 Rand once off, that 5,000 Rand a month is going to add up over 12 months.
And compounds.
And then you have the compound interest, and yeah, that's amazing.
So that changed my life. So those 2 books changed my life completely.
This podcast is sponsored by Van Zyl Kruger Attorneys. Van Zyl Kruger Attorneys have been my number one supporter since the first day that I started in the real estate industry. They've always been there for my clients when critical questions around the transfer of a property have come up. And I'm super grateful to them for sponsoring this podcast. If you are looking for a transferring attorney on your next sale, please consider Van Zyl Kruger Attorneys. They won't let you down. So yeah, thanks again to Van Zyl Kruger Attorneys for sponsoring the podcast. And yeah, it wouldn't be possible without them. Rich Dad Poor Dad and Atomic Habits.
And Rich Dad Poor Dad, I know everyone knows that book. Everyone has heard it, heard about it and who he is. But it's such an easy read, and it just puts that little thing in perspective of an asset and a liability is. Yes, asset and liability. Yeah. So, and it's not new. It's 3,000 years old. You just need to kind of understand where you fit, you put yourself, to position yourself to kind of get there.
Exactly. Are you creating bad debt or good debt sort of thing? Yeah. And so you more of the mind of, let's go into debt to buy real estate, but so that I can make money.
It needs to be an asset. Like he says.
That's the cash flow.
That's the cash flow.
Yeah.
He says, buying to live in is not a good asset.
Yeah.
That's what I learned from him.
Yeah.
So,
your house isn't an asset.
So my first one won't be one I live in.
Yeah.
And he also calls it the rat race. People do that. You're in the rat race.
Yeah.
Get a salary. The salary every month, you just put a little bit away. At the end of 20 years, you might retire or you might not because you didn't get out of the rat race. So
you got to go read that. Got to get out of the rat race as soon as possible.
Exactly.
And then, what drives you to work so hard every day?
Also a very good question. Well, it comes down to kind of a personal thing. Why?
Yeah.
So, I think my dad's really successful.
Yeah.
Really, really successful. But no one taught him he didn't read the Robert Kiyosaki's, or for him it was like, keep your head down and work hard. And that's exactly what he did. He was really successful, got a promotion every 9 months. He did really well. But he also spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, he actually realized that how much debt he has. He never gets in front.
Yeah. I mean, so he's stuck in the rat race almost.
Was 100%
stuck in the rat.
Was 100% until he realized that I can't afford another house, and my mom's like, I want a house in George to go and retire in. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And then he was like, damn, I never thought about it this way. Let's change our whole structures and the way we think and how much money we spend.
Yeah.
And almost at 60, he's now at a place where I'm debt free. I'm moving forward every single day of my life, but only almost at 60, 58.
Wow. Sure.
So for me, what motivates me is kind of to be better than my dad. And that, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as if I do it correctly, I could possibly be at 60, be someone that's been retired for 5 years or 7 years.
Yeah.
And my kids would probably don't need to work as hard as I am. Not that I would not tell them to work. I'm saying,
but you want to have that foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I can give them something that is debt free already, then they just have a massive jump in life.
Yeah.
Imagine not having to buy your own first house.
Yeah.
And they could just buy an asset with their hard-earned cash for 7 or 8 years that they did when they worked.
They don't even have to go into the rat race.
Never get there.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's what motivates me. I want to be better than my dad.
Amazing.
But
and because you love your dad.
Because I love my dad.
Amazing. That's lovely. And then we've got to the segment of the show where it's Ask the Agent. So basically we've asked our audience what questions they would like to ask you. And these are the questions. So
Cool.
Here we go. So where would you invest as a first-time buyer in South Africa at the moment? What is your ideal property investment strategy? I think you already touched on, Robert Kiyosaki, but maybe just
Okay.
area and your strategy of investment, how you're going to make money.
Cool. A very good question, Josh.
Sure.
And we have a dinner club on a Thursday night. Well, moved it to Tuesday because Thursday I'm cricket now. But we had this thing where we decided, okay, maybe we should start an investment club, and then we can get friends of friends just to invest with us to kind of buy a place. Not that that's what everyone should do, but we talked about it. And at the moment in South Africa, because there's such a big semigration, property prices in Cape Town skyrocketed, right?
Yeah.
Even though that happens, the rental returns, it's really low in Cape Town.
Yeah.
So 2 ways of thinking about it. The first one is either I'm going for long-term rental, which is easier, I think, or you can do short-term. In Cape Town specifically, I'd buy a short-term place, specifically in Sea Point.
Okay.
That's a really, really good one to start off with, because Sea Point has a lot of properties. You probably won't have such a big return initially until you kind of find out how you market and where you put it. If you have a good agent, well done. Then you'll probably have a bigger return. Suggest an agent. That's the first one. Second one is if you want rental returns, Pretoria and Joburg, specifically midstream, is the way to go.
Okay.
You can get a property for much less than what we have in Cape Town, and you can let it out long term because it has a housing problem.
I see.
The capital growth the average earner in Joburg earns like 3,000 or 4,000 rand more than the guy in Cape Town.
Wow.
With a lower
cost of living
than in Cape Town because we have that European influence.
Wow, amazing.
So I would say look at those areas in Pretoria and Joburg. If you want to do short-term investment, Cape Town's the way to go. My strategy would be not to buy the very first one for a house that you live in, obviously to get out of the rat race, because you're making debt and you can't get another bond if you're going bond way. If you buy your first one as your house, you need to have some, like if you're earning a salary, it's difficult to kind of get capital to put into your mortgage.
Yeah.
Because you only have a limited amount of disposable income. For us commission earners, it'll be harder in the same sentence, but also easier because sometimes we have a big influx of capital which we can put down.
Yeah.
So first one investment, second one or third one where you live.
Will be to live. Okay, amazing. And then why do you think so many people are scared of auctions, and what is your view on auctions in the current market?
Good question.
You're doing a lot of auctions.
Yeah. Yeah. So people, as a seller's point of view, I don't think buyers are afraid of auctions. We have seen it, and then with the amount of inquiries you get, people are curious about auctions. I don't think they're scared of auctions, but an owner or a seller is very scared of auctions because, firstly, what their neighbors will ask them is, what is wrong with your property? Are you in financial distress? So it's more like I want to say more like an ego or a personal thing for an owner to kind of say yes to an auction, because that's questions he'll get.
Yes.
In some body corporates, it actually says you're not allowed to do auction.
But I think that's like on-site auction.
But still, it's like an insult. I want to say almost like an insult to the body corporate in the building, the owners of that.
Wow.
So the sellers are afraid of that because of what other people think of them until they tried it.
Yes.
I mean, the auction I'm doing currently, the owner was extremely worried about the auctions, but the amount of people and the amount of offers he get, amount of offers he get is just right out there compared to what you could have gotten in the traditional real estate market. Not that I'm saying it doesn't work. I'm saying auction just guarantees foot through the door.
An active approach rather than a passive approach.
Exactly. Like you want difference in 4 weeks, auction.
Yeah. So you feel it's more convincing the seller to do the auction. Buyers are buying in and they love the concept
because they immediately think there is a deal.
Yeah. Exactly.
And how easy. I have a New Zealand friend, his name's Avi. says, how hard is it to sell something that someone wants? Because of they're curious about the auction, kind of want a deal.
Yeah.
How hard is it to sell it?
Not hard at all.
Not hard at all. Which kind of gives the power back to the agent if you do auction.
Yeah.
But getting that across to the sellers with challenges and needing to put aside like what other people think of him.
Yeah.
Because if he gets what he's asking, why would you care if you're moving out of that block anyway, or next to that neighbor anyway?
No, if you're getting the best price you can for that property,
why wouldn't you do it?
Why not? Yeah, we love auctions.
Yeah,
And if you had to restart your career again, what would you do differently, if anything?
I struggle with regret, to be honest with you, because I strongly believe that I'm here at the moment. I know it's going to sound very cliche, but I'm here in the moment because I made the mistakes and did what I did until I got here. So at the moment, I'm very happy that I'm in Cape Town, doing real estate, doing auctions, still learning. In the industry. So I'm going to answer that question this way. I don't have regrets getting here.
Yeah.
I might have made mistakes, but I don't regret the mistakes because that's how we grow.
That's the best way. Yeah, that's the thing. Everything is a stepping stone to get to where you want to go in life. 100%.
So
couldn't agree more.
If there's something specific, I would say is, I wish I prepared myself a little bit more in terms of like what can happen to you.
Yeah.
Because there's some certain situations there where, like getting chased out of a house, for example, in front of someone, that kind of gives.
That was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's what. It's a little bit of a regret, but also a stepping stone. Explaining that situation to someone might bring me business. You don't know, but that's one thing that I kind of regret.
Okay, but other than that, everything's a step. I think same for me. I wouldn't be here where I am right now if I didn't make the mistakes I did. I probably wouldn't even be in real estate. So, yeah. And then you recently taken on the training of an intern, Matthew, to become an agent. What inspired you to take on this mentorship role, and what qualities do you believe are essential for a successful career in luxury real estate?
Sure. So, what motivated me to get him in as an intern wasn't a motivation from myself saying I need an intern.
Yeah.
It was more a law of attraction thing, the one we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
He phoned me saying, Elmar, I see what you're doing. You're enjoying it so much. You're moving forward in life. Like where I saw you 3 years ago and where you are at the moment is like two different people.
Yes.
I'd like to be part of that. I recently finished my degree. He finished his degree at Pretoria in, I think, BA Multimedia Design. It's kind of similar to what I did, but more focus of coding stuff and back-end stuff for websites and stuff. So he can do that aspect as well, which kind of adds value to my business.
Yes.
So that motivated me to take him on because I believe in him. I met him when he was 15.
Wow.
Plays underwater hockey with me.
Wow.
We've been into high stress situations together and come out on top. I mean, he was in the team where we came fourth. It was in South African history the best we've ever done at a junior level.
Wow.
With me.
Sure.
So I took him on because of that, and I think the values that he kind of needs, what an intern would need to kind of start in the real estate industry is tenacity. That's the only thing I would say you'd need. All the other things you can learn, how to do a contract, how to do a listing, what to tell the photographer, what to tell the buyers, what to tell the seller.
Yeah.
And just straight up tenacity. That's what you need. And he absolutely has it. I mean, he's been working for us for a week. He's really jumped head in first with the auctions. He just came at the right time for me because as we started that auction, I don't know how I could handle 120 inquiries. How do you handle that in what's today? Today's Monday. How's that like?
Yeah, what's
9 days?
2 weeks. Yeah, 9 days. Not even 2 weeks. Sure.
How?
Yeah, you can't handle that without having some help. Definitely.
answer the question about the qualities, tenacity. You just need to be better and just keep going.
Wow. Amazing. Well, I wish you and him all the best.
Thank you.
As you go forward. And then I just want to finish. I think we should kind of start wrapping it up. So what are your aspirations for the future, both in terms of your personal growth and your career in luxury real estate? And how do you envision your role evolving within the industry?
Well, that's a few questions in one.
Sorry.
My aspirations for the future is I would one day want to be a business owner. Ideally, be an office owner myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd like to own an office on the Atlantic seaboard.
Wow.
I think we spoke about that, but
Yes.
this is definitely something I would do.
Yeah.
Because I've always been a big picture kind of guy, and I know kind of that's where I'm gonna end. If it's not in Cape Town, might be somewhere else in the world.
Yeah.
Might be in the US, might not be in Australia, might be New Zealand. You never know where you end up.
Wow.
So my aspirations is definitely to be an owner. What's the next part of it?
The next part of it is, how do you envision your role evolving within the industry?
It evolves by, firstly, I'm going to see if I can actually manage a team now, on a small team, because it's just me and Matthew at the moment.
Yes.
And he's like brand new. So I'd see how far that evolves, that I could actually become someone who manages a team, like small scale.
Yeah.
And after that, I could possibly, if I train him good enough, if he becomes an agent, I could get an assistant for the both of us.
Yes.
And then form part of that team, like Michael Pashley's team. Doesn't just have him, his son, his daughter, his wife, assistant, a manager. I think that's where we could go, because our business owner kind of gives us free reins over any area. If I can take over or have 10 or 12% market share in an area in the luxury real estate space, I would definitely need that.
Yes.
So if we do start doing auctions when we start doing auctions on the luxury side of things, it will also be crazy. And people with high net worth want to feel special.
Yeah, they want a team, they want communication, they want all that stuff.
So that is where I see myself going in terms of that, because I really do believe that Matthew could be someone that does that. Or we can get someone else that could maybe help me. But that's where I see, and I'm ambitious to go. I really, really do want that to happen like that.
I think you guys will get there. I've got no doubt.
I'm sure that one day we'll be working in a team together again.
Maybe, yeah. And then what inspires and motivates you every day? I think we kind of already touched on that with your dad and trying, kind of wanting to take it to the next level.
Well, I think the habits kind of keeps you going. I mean, a goal can only take you so far. If you make sure that your habits are in order, your routine to kind of get to your sales calls, because that's the hardest part of your day, right?
Yeah.
To make sure to be able to wake up the next day and say, hey, I'm going again. Yeah. People are going to yell at me again today, but I'm going up and I'm keep going on.
That's it.
So you get your routine right. I think that's what keeps me going.
Amazing. And then when things get hard and chaotic, as they often do in the real estate industry, what do you do to effectively navigate these challenges?
I try and walk around with a little black book, like writing ideas. It's more like a journal, but also like a daily planner.
Okay.
Where I write down exactly what needs to happen during the day, and as the day progresses, new ones get added, someone gets taken off, but not going off the path that I planned out the night before. Obviously, that's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
But if I find myself just opening my phone and just not knowing what to do, I go back to my list, seeing this is what needs to happen. Did I do this? Did I add new ones? Did I take someone's off?
Yeah.
And that's how I get myself kind of to make sure that I'm focusing and making sure that I get those things done.
Yeah.
Because someone phones you, or your mom calls you, someone's not on the airport, or,
yeah,
a lot of things get lost.
Yes.
Especially in our industry. It just gets, and how many people have you heard a seller saying, I've never heard of this agent again?
Yeah. When that agent comes, they list the property and they never, the seller hasn't heard from them for 2 weeks.
So that kind of boils down to the same thing. I don't think that agent, the idea was that they'll never speak to the person again. It was more like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing that, but I never got back to the thing I was doing. So making sure that you go through that list, making sure you get it done.
Yeah.
So that's what I do to navigate my day.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much it. It's been such a pleasure having you on the podcast. Thanks so much for coming on, and I think you shared some amazing wisdom with all of our listeners. So yeah, thanks so much, Elmar, and I really appreciated having you on today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was fun. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Cheers.